Our new protocol is called ALICE, and in a few minutes I'll walk you through what ALICE stands for and what this means for you as a student. Why are we changing our current lockdown protocol? Sadly, there have been a number of school shootings in the United States that have caused law enforcement and other agencies to rethink how they do lockdown. Here's the lockdown as we know it. Currently, if there's an active shooter or an armed intruder in our building, we are alerted through a PA announcement, and we immediately go into lockdown by locking our classroom doors, turning the lights off, sheltering out of sight of the door to the classroom or any glass in the classroom. We close the window blinds and we stay quiet. We're waiting for rescue from the police. This is the current practice across school districts nationally. This has become one of the reasons to change our protocol. Our new lockdown protocol, ALICE, gives staff and students the option to take action during that time versus just waiting for rescue. ALICE stands for A, alert, L, lockdown, I, inform, C, counter, and E, evacuate. Let me walk through each of these with you and talk about what you'll need to know as a student in our high schools related to the ALICE protocol. The A in ALICE stands for an alert. When the alert is activated, staff and students must act swiftly and decisively. The initial alert that something's going on in your building, specifically that there's an armed intruder or active shooter in your building, may come as an announcement on the PA system or over a campus radio. Staff and students may also be alerted to the need to implement ALICE due to sounds of gunshots, screaming, or actually seeing the armed intruder. The alert to implement the ALICE lockdown protocol is ALICE, ALICE, ALICE. Following that, ALICE, 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 there'll be more information as to where the shooter is or information you would need to know. For example, ALICE, 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 there is a man with a gun in the north entrance of the school. The man with the gun is walking towards the nurse's office. Following alert, the first choice may be to lock down. This is a very good option, similar to our past lockdown protocol. You're going to lock the door. You're going to turn off the lights. Different than past protocols, you're also going to barricade and fortify the door. You're going to take furniture that's in the classroom, desks, tables, chairs, bookcases, cabinets, and you're going to put it against the door to barricade the door from an armed intruder entering. And then you're going to listen for additional information.
If you are able to stack chairs, desks, tables, or other things against the door or entryway, the threatening person may likely move to another area instead of wasting time having to climb over or move the objects in an attempt to get into a room where there may or may not be people. Every door can be barricaded, regardless of whether the door locks or the direction in which the door opens. You may need to be creative. Don't just give up.
The I in ALICE is for inform. Inform is an extension of the earlier alert, ALICE, 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 that continues providing real-time information throughout the entire active shooter event. Anyone in the school can inform anyone what's going on so they can make good decisions about what they're going to do. It is important to share out information to the building using any mode of communication available. Again, that might be the PA system, that could be the telephone in the classroom, that could be text messaging or email, a campus radio, or it could be students and staff using their voices, letting folks know what they hear and what is going on. The man with the handgun is now outside the west doors of the media center. He's wearing a green shirt, has on a red ball cap. Based on this new and developing information, staff and students may decide to do something different than just locking down. The E in ALICE is for evacuate. Staff may choose not to lock down. Staff and students may choose to evacuate the building to get away from the threat. Here's some things to keep in mind in terms of evacuation. You want to always make sure you're evacuating away from the sounds of the threat. You're going to leave the school building immediately, and you're going to run. This will not be orderly like a fire drill. You will not stand in single file. You will run fast to the nearest exit. Remember, as a high school student, do not go to or use your car. You must run on foot away from the building. Keep in mind the rules on evacuation. You're going to run until you can no longer see your high school. You want to stay in a safe location, and you want to remain and stay aware of your surroundings and your safety at all times. Again, the rule of thumb, you run far from the building. If you can still see the building, you have not run far enough away. Keep in mind for evacuation that the perimeter of the neighborhood or the school will be immediately flooded with first responders and safety personnel. Within minutes, there will be firemen and policemen, county sheriff, lots of officers responding. The neighborhood outside of the school will be a safe place to evacuate to. Keep in mind, once you've reached a point of safety, you want to flag down a first responder or a public safety official and let them know who you are, let them know who's with you. Certainly can tell them what's happening in your building. If you have your cell phone with you, call 911. Students can text or phone their parents or family to let them know they are safe. Once the incident has been contained at the school by our safety officials, the safety officials will assist us in evacuating from our locations where we're safe to a reunification point so we can be reunited with our family and our staff can be reunited with their family as well. The C in ALICE stands for counter. Counter tactics are to be considered only as an absolute last resort. Counter tactics are to be used when the threat, the active shooter, the armed intruder, actually enters the classroom despite our best efforts to lock down, to barricade, or to attempt to evacuate. Keep in mind for counter. Counter is any physical or verbal act besides doing absolutely nothing. That's considered a counter tactic. Teachers or students may scream and run around the room to distract the aggressor's concentration. That's a counter tactic. They can throw available items at the intruder. That breaks their concentration. Throwing a textbook, throwing a computer, throwing a desk, throwing a chair at the intruder breaks their concentration, it puts them on the defensive, and provides a few moments for staff and students to evacuate the classroom and evacuate the building.
To update the police of the situation. If possible, hold the aggressor down on the floor until the police arrive. Once again, do not pick up the weapon, as you may then be mistaken for the aggressor.
Thank you for your time and attention as we spent just a few minutes talking about the ALICE lockdown protocol and the components of the lockdown protocol that will be important for you as a student to know and understand and feel comfortable with should we ever be faced with an armed intruder situation. You're going to have some time now with staff and teachers in your building to answer some questions and have more discussions about the particulars for you, the classrooms you're in during the school day in your high school. Again, thank you for your time and paying attention to this very serious and important matter.